So the bill itself, Chair and committee members, comes in 19 parts. It's quite a voluminous one, where part one discusses on preliminary matters. Part two is basically on interpretation. I'm sure you have the bill before you. Part three is areas where mining is prohibited or is restricted. Part four deals with mineral tenements, applications, grant and renewal. Part five on mineral tenements, variations and surrender, cancellation. Part six, you have the mineral tenements relevant information. Part 7 is on consolidation of mineral tenements. Part 8, community reserved areas and community mining permits. Part 9, mine closure. Part 10 is all basically on protection of environment on mine areas. Part 11 touches on financial matters. Part 12 on authorization to deal in and export of minerals. Part 13 is on mining register and dealing. This is one of those new areas that we are trying to introduce, to have a mining register. Part 4 is on mineral resource special fund. This is one area that we wish to also introduce, and we will greatly value the ideas around this mineral resource special fund for the mineral sector. Part 15 is basically on administrative matters, 16 enforcement, 17 on miscellaneous. Part 18 is on repeal, transitional and savings provisions, and Part 19 on consequential amendments. We will go through in detail as we go, but just to inform the committee, I believe that the reasons for taking this bill forward is basically based on the fact that the current Mines and Minerals Act is already outdated. There's a lot of changes in the sector, practices and technology, if you like. More so, because of these changes, there's real need for better governance of the sector itself. In terms of consultations, if you wish to, we have a team here that travels around the Solomons to do the consultations prior to the development of the bill itself, draft bill, and of course the drafting instructions. Yes, and the consultation goes way back to 2014, I believe. We have a couple of mining forums that were hosted by previous governments during the Lilo-led government. There's views around how best we can manage the sector, and so consultations are done. And just to let you know, there's already I think a couple of drafts drafted by previous drafters. There's a first drafter that we engage where we think that the draft itself doesn't reflect well on the context of our situation here, and so we decided to let go of the draft, picking up what we want from it, and then we are so fortunate that World Bank decided to continue to assist us in mine institutional strengthening programs, and so we came up with even with the new work that is done after the rejection of the first drafted. We also have other drafts that are reviewed, amended, and then redrafted up until last month. or the previous month when we decided to finally have the bill submitted to the Bills and Legislation Committee through Parliament proceedings. And yes, we also committed administratively to try and prepare our workforce to be relevant to the new mining legislation. But we need to firstly see to it that we have a better bill for this sector. The challenges are not new to everyone. We all face these challenges. We have resourcing challenges. We have monitoring challenges, and also perceptions around the sector. As you know, this is a new sector that is being introduced, considered as a sunrise sector, but we are so confident that if we can get our heads together and get these bills through, we will be able to firstly face up with the challenges head on, and then we can do better thereafter. So yeah, I think that is basically part of the introductions that I wish to just make known to the committee. And on behalf of the team, we also wish to thank, and of course on behalf of the ministry, thank those who are engaged out there in the provinces in putting their views, their ideas for women and children that are consulted. Thank you so much too, if they are listening at the moment. And the team really wish to also thank those that are part of the team in developing this bill, successive BSs, DSs, and of course directors that are engaged, and officers in the mines division. We thank them so much. Some have retired, but yes, we are optimistic to continue in making sure that the bill that the people wishes to have passed in Parliament is brought before the Honourable House of Parliament for further deliberations. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee members. And yes, the team here will take on board whatever that we will deliberate on, and we progress with the bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you, PS, for your introductory remarks and presentation to the committee. I'll allow my committee members to raise questions or make comments to your presentation. We start with you, leader.
Yeah. Thank you, Chairman. Sorry, no one. PS, thank you for big workload this one. It's something where country, need him. And successive parliaments have been pushing for many, many years, so finally him come. So thank you for you and Team Blue and those who have been at law, making sure that the bill can reach him where he cuts him this time. Just a preliminary matter, in terms of this inquiry, and given the subject matter, you have done consultations, I can see the report. But an inquiry is not a consultation, and so Bills Committee have resolved for travel around country. So me will ask him a little bit selling for go around. Where is that now? By you will help him committee for go around.
Yeah, we've discussed that with the minister, and I think his formal response to the chair's letter will be coming soon, and maybe perhaps today. Response here in by come. Just to give you a clear position on this, no more from the division's perspective. I'm sad to relay to the committee that we will definitely need to maybe fish outside to support the call, but simply because we may not be able to have the amount that was requested, but as I've said, we will try our very best to facilitate in any case. Thank you.
Okay, but I'm good for you find him. If you know so find him, and no one must find him now. Gold mine lohan blue, nickel mine lohan blue, everything lohan blue, you know. So you must try find him. The other, of course, is the ongoing process, discussion along of federal state reform, government reform, and so how the bill is positioned if that eventuates or it doesn't. How by Billy position is one issue. The other is a big one right across the country. Everyone say, hey, no any something lo government lo here man, every time people there. And so this rule, is it a 6 meter or 6 feet?
6 feet.
6 feet. Underneath 6 feet here, lo government. So how the bill me approaching that issue here, and in the consultations, what now? Your sense of consensus, or when people call him, this is a very important issue. The other is the economic part, but that's a matter for finance and taxation law, but it does impact also on the way the bill may approach it. Two issues on that. One is participation of government, whether that's government or provincial level government. The other is, of course, the revenue that flows from it. Our current taxation system, law minerals, out of date, useless. And so we need, in terms of the mining sector, taxation, let's just say the revenue stream will come from mineral sector should shift to an economic rent, resource rent framework, as opposed to what it is at the moment. And although that, as I said, matter of finance, that should weigh on this bill, because it will have implications for how investors are going to assess the mineral sector below this fellow country. So whether there were some discussions around that and what the views below ministry below this one. The role below landowners too. I note look at the various parts you read in here, participation will get him a little bit more accentuated or enhanced. But basically, because you may depend come royalties here no more for out the land on you may rave mogat for so long, and there needs to be some decisive step taken. And if you may learn from logging, that after logging, no matter me I'm finished, bago tree grow no more behind 2 years. But the ground here may dig him go by sal gold rich no more by grow, but every other place no more man. There's some geology around that. Pressure low underneath, then gold can come up more, as if it's renewable. But in any case, generally mining is not a renewable industry, and therefore it's important that not landowner resource owners really benefit, as in not just benefit this time, then go spoil them, then finish, but a sustainable scheme that will benefit not only the current generation, but future generations, because once you dig in land, you dig in, I never grow back or same terimo. Those are some issues where we looking also at the big picture level. Need to get some clarity from you, Farlohem. Side law governance, this whole sector, and of course, as you say, you partly blame him the outdated Mines and Minerals Act there, and the way the Powers Blow Minerals Board and Powers Blow Minister has been used or abused over so many years. And so by him, good for you also clarifying to the committee how we will overcome those situations. I mean, issues of land and resource ownership, law one side, and then issues of governance and decision making, law another side, and then issues law environment, law another side. Three key stakeholders, me looking at the big picture level, are critical to ensuring that one, the resource is environmentally feasible for accessing and for exploiting, and then of course the way it is harvested, that be environmentally sustainable, and then two, in terms of what goes to land holding groups, and then the three was the critical decision-making mechanisms and processes in the middle, making sure that HEMI both investor-friendly, environment-friendly, and resource owner-friendly should be that administrative decision-making governance mechanism. Law environment side, you may know like him for environmental concerns and hold him up exploitation of resources. If that were to become the objective, but you may not dig him any gold now. So, but we do still want harvesting to be environmentally sustainable. And law decision making, that investors that come and invest in prospecting and then for eventually mine, that they are not being hampered. One, it's too difficult. It's just decision making is so difficult to go round and round in circles. Decision has already been done. Naraman come more behind, come doing something, and board change him decision more, or go to minister, or money go direct to minister, so minister change. It makes a mockery of our governance decision-making processes. It's as if we're monkeys flying after peanuts. We change our mind every stage of the way. There must be much greater clarity, transparency around governance and decision-making, and much greater certainty, so that investors know what to fulfill, and fulfill him straight too. Some of all kita environment impact assessment reports come minerals body. If you did some due diligence on it, you would know they probably wrote it from an office somewhere. When you receive an impact assessment, which is only 3-5 pages, even 10 pages, it's just fraud. No any impact assessment, even a small tenement by him 10 pages. There's just so much biodiversity in our islands. So there has to be, even looking at that environmental side, there has to be some clear criteria. Now, is that a matter for this bill, or is that a matter for the environment, or to talk about nar bill mo, but no, a long time too much man. Wari Blomina is in the interim, when our standards are not really tightened up, that these issues are not taken seriously. If we go through each of the mining operations we've had so far, of course we've got Goldridge, then we've got Bauxite Loreno, Nicola Isabel, Nicola Choiseul. I just asked you, how many pages now log at the impact assessment, environment impact assessment studies you received for each of those. That in itself will be an indication of what or what is not a thorough assessment. So there needs to be some safeguards there. So we do need to be investor friendly, but at the same time, we don't need to become, ridden roughshod over. Investors think also easy too much to get their way here. So those are some fella big picture concerns me garemlo this fella sector. I note in some of the I think the assessment, regulatory impact assessment, that you're reducing the minister's discretion over some of these things, and I wonder whether you've had a PNG advisor. Em go back now?
Still here.
Oh, he must come here. Tomorrow you must take him come. Because it'd be useful for us to hear the experience. They've been at it for much longer than us. And pardon my ignorance on these things, but they have is it a statutory agency, statutory body, the MRA? It'd be useful, because you've decided not to take that approach. I would be interested to know why you haven't done that. Is it because it doesn't work for them? Or does it work for them? And they have similar customary land tenure systems also in Bloyumi. And so my natural assumption was that for look law example and experiences below and see if we can benefit law some for local experiences here, what is contextual to our situation law here. So those are my initial thoughts, and if you like, perhaps some questions at the broad general level, if PS have a respond to some follow.
Thank you, Leader, for those initial reactions. PS would give you the opportunity to respond.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honourable Leader, for those very good reflections and comments that you made. It's all very valid issues. Firstly, I would wish that we get ourselves into knowing the sector as something that is not really easy, but a complex sector, in a sense that in other jurisdictions you have resource owners per se, maybe only title holders or families. In this case, for us, him different, yeah? And I appreciate the visionary where you give him earlier in terms of how does this bill gonna work when we get into federalism. To me, it will be very good if we understand what really is ownership around the mineral context when it comes to this mining sector. Yeah? I'll probably need some guidance and further explanations from the Attorney General's chamber, but yes, to help us know what the people want during the consultations, 6 feet under him, I think that they are very clear about it, that it shouldn't be the states alone, or it should be theirs also, yeah? Now, what I'm basically trying to get to here is, technically speaking, the minerals that were formed, me no like go into details geological custom stories, but they were there millions and millions of years, even before the first inhabitants, Los Solomon Bahem Stape. That is a technical argument that you could say, and the same could also be true. This is one area where I'm a little bit complicating, talking about resource ownerships for Yumi, especially when we have customary titles to over the land and all same here. Now, ownership of the minerals itself, Hemi comes with responsibility. So if we are to say that, oh, minami onam, then we also would really have to prepare to facilitate how do we go about exploring it. For example, we also have to be responsible over how do we go about administering the processes that comes to extracting it. And not only that, but you know, and I think if you can go back, this is something that I wish to share with the committee, that goes to have a pinch on the mineral equity, yeah? The responsibility that comes with it. And if you go back to the old act, him no actually entertaining local equity. It's because of the responsibility that comes with it that can be very, very expensive, and our people cannot afford for you to engage into the exercise, because the mineral itself can be there, but unless and until you come for quantifying that yes, it's viable for doing, it will still be there, and it will always be there. So the process of getting into confirming the viability of that specific minerals is a very expensive exercise that also, as leaders of this nation, Lomi too, I was of the view that we really need to guide our people correctly into it. Now comes to the 6 feet rule here. I think this is basically going back to the principal laws over resources and minerals here. So time you talk about royalty too, him come back to the same thinking, where because the 6 feet rule him no blow people but blow state and the people. Okay, the definitions of people here is two things, where the bill is really trying to accommodate principle of sharing, where mineral, him people, everyone, Solomon, yeah, and the state, where the landowners come in to benefit more is, and the bill in this instance is introducing community development agreements. And we also want to allow an opportunity, and for me, Salava, speaking here, me still for looking that a real pilot project that Bahem is enabling people for really engage community mining here. So, but that is an intention to allow people for engage here. But as me say, we really need to beef up our capacity so that people can really do it themselves. Give an example for PNG. They've been wrecking it up and down, perfecting it, spoil them more in the last maybe 40 to 50 years to where they are now doing it properly. Meaning also Mbarawa engage lo projects nami try and having equity in the project. Giving you an example too, Gold Ridge. It's very, very good and very encouraging to hear that yes, there is a 10% stake in the company for the landowners. But when we don't have the capacity to manage the 10%, it could yield to other issues, social issues and also. So I'm basically not trying to do away with encouraging people for engage or become part, but the bill is providing for that. And for example, I may be part of a land-owning tribes that Mifalagarem stake in the operations, or we run it. What if a situation comes and you have a pool of tailings dam that needs to be kept operational? And also, example, now Gold Ridge last time, even St. Barbara, Hemi, a very strong, competent mining company, but Hem decided for pull off because of the expense in running the tailings dam, which is Hem almost run around $1 million just to keep the cleaning of the tailings dam before discharge here. It's not operations yet. So $1 million a month, low operating no more water treatment plant, me no think that the government itself could even run here. So what I'm trying to emphasize here and is the awareness that people and maybe our leaders need to know when it comes to equity around the sector here. And to quickly comment on the governance and the decision making around Honorable Opposition Leader, I think that is a very timely call, and as you and a chair and every committee member looking so far, we have issues around decision making. So the bill is trying to encourage the board, the board to make the decision, and the decision of the board be communicated to the minister also. And HEMNO also the previous one where the board makes the decision and then makes the recommendations to the minister to make each other decision on top of it, whether to accept the board's decision or not. That is something we are trying to manage. Not only that, but the challenge we also face is, Constitution itself, me no lawyer, but also him giving a lot of recognition and that law ministers of the crown and of course leaders in the country ought to be respected too in the processes also. So these are areas that we really want to make sure that it's appropriately captured. So law decision making now and going forward, we think that any decision that the technical people and whatnot inside law board Hemi Mekem should be made final and then inform minister that the decision of the board is this, and then him taken up from there. To quickly try and capture development consents from environment, I'm sad to say that by me no comment on that as Hemi law another act, which is the Environmental Act, due to new actia hemi bilia bahem come to. So the environmental assessment impact on impacts and environmental statements and also hemi govern through these fala actia. And so if you with due respect to those processes in there, what the board by HEMI rely heavily is on the regulatory power that Director Environment Hemgarem. So due diligence and whatnot on the environmental impact statement or assessment, HEMI really based on the whatever director HEMI take him come forward in the process law mineral rights. That is what the board by HEMI luluk lohem. But you can also look into part 19 of the same bill here. This one, the draft bill that is before the committee. We are looking into consequential amendments if this bill go through, yeah, also, yeah, where amendments could be made in the Environment Act that could cater for, part of the due diligence low mineral sector have to do him too. Whether 3 pages IAEM sufficient or we will scrutinize based on the mining engineers' perception over the impacts of the environments that also here, which a director environment might not foresee too also. And also one other consequential amendment that might result is on the Lands and Title Act. So that is on that. Investor friendly issues, we have to admit that we will leave all the financing dialogues and also with them finance. But for us, we also know, and that is why if you look into the penalties and also law new bill, we've increased it to become deterrence values to the operators. Yeah, though Mifala understanding that we cannot issue or approve the feasibility study that is brought before the Directorate Office if HEMI economically viable, because what then should be there for the company and what then should be there as a result for the state and the people if you miss out that Bahem no make any profit at the start. So I will leave further comments to my director for him make him on that. But there are areas that we probably need to look into seriously. For example, we've been hearing comments from our provincial governments too that they are elevating their business licenses and also how that can impact on the investment is something that would really also appreciate if the committee look to those areas when the consultations happen. Yeah? So yeah, in terms of establishing the Mineral Resource Authority, yes, true that it's not factored in this bill, but that is something that we are really looking forward to, and we've been doing consultations with MRA Papua New Guinea on if we could see our very reason as to why we didn't include it now, leaders, is basically the capacity that we realize in establishing the Mineral Resource Authority is still not here. within the mines division. It's a thing that we will be looking at seriously, and the Directorate Office have been doing consultations already with the Waterloo Mineral Resource Authority. I think there's a visit so far by the team, and we see that would really beef up our governance issues, but we cannot introduce it if we don't have the capacity to run it alongside the bill. So that one is now also an issue we need to deal with administratively, and when we are ready for it, we can have especially normal or technical capacity law monitoring and all that. So these are issues that the ministry will also be looking into seriously, and make decisions as to whether we will open up new mines more or no more, until such a time when we build the necessary capacity fit for those. So, Chair, I think these are a few comments that I just wish to raise, and colleagues, if you may wish to add to that, Director or Attorney General's chamber.
Thank you, PS. I'll come back to you. Let me recognize the presence of my committee members. Just on my left, I have John Tin Kuku, Member of Parliament for North New Georgia constituency. Further left, Honorable David Keenan, Member of Bills and Legislation Committee from South New Georgia, Randover and Tetepari constituency. And further left, I have George Demahua, Member of Parliament for West New Georgia constituency. And further on my right, I wish to also recognize the presence of Member for Savo Russell's constituency, Honorable Oliver Salupuka. Yes, any of your teams wish to add on to your response, PS, you have the floor before I allow Leader of the Opposition to again respond to the responses from you.
Thank you, Chair. I would just like to comment on the 6 feet in terms of ownership of certain state resources. So this one is not specifically stated in law, but it's a common law position. It's historical because I think before the monarch owned certain resources. And I think the principle behind this, well, it's reflected in the current bill, but it's not stated clearly. It's that the government and people, government is vested or is the custodian to look after certain state resources, and the people will benefit. And I think this is true at the tax regime and royalties to landowners. That's direct benefit for landowners. So I think on basis for this one, the fact that Old or Nicole Hemlo Isabel, the people are just there, they don't work for it or make it happen. It's because of a certain geographical setting, yeah? So the fact that Mifalo Maleta might not garem, it's not of our own doing as well. So that's why the principle of fair distribution of natural resources come in, so that it's vested in the government and the government will distribute it to the people. So I think small explanation of that one. leader of opposition will know better around this thing. Hem common law position no more. It's not specifically in legislation, but it has been outstanding since historical times and time. It's also reflected in constitutions, in mineral legislation, Bloc PNG, and other countries where Okata Garem colonial masters before, and it's basically just to ensure that state resources are distributed equally to everyone through public services like roads, clinics, and schools, etc. So I have a small explanation from that one. Thank you.
So I can see, that argument, common law argument, I'm good for sharing the benefits of it across the whole country. But I think tying the redistribution of the national, because it is national wealth, tying that redistribution to the ownership of it, meeting him wrong. It's one law blood Queen and King blow England. Ogat never own any land man. What time not own anything man. And people blame me lo consultations make him this one barawa clear minus alo gwal kana na narpis but lo malita what man tok lo mi olo normal this one go mi same to him. Hey, law blow you me. I'm no follow ting blow you me. And I mean the taxation, if redistribution, equitable distribution of benefits that come from mineral resources is the issue as to why you may hold on law, this for old common law position that I'm 6 feet under him law state, then that is a matter that can be achieved through taxation. Yeah. That's why we say first time you shift him tax away from the current outdated, useless format. Now you do them this time. That's all the Rave me always. Move it to a resource rent framework. So we have a situation, for example, of Gold Ridge at the moment. So they will have pitched a certain break-even point. Yeah? Price below gold, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's 900 US per ounce. If it's 900 US per ounce, it will be break-even. If it's more, we will make profit. I'm just guessing. This is 3,500. We don't have a scheme in our taxation for that. So him not give him certainty law minus, but him also disadvantageous to the government. 2 year. There should be, if any resource rent, him follow the scarcity of the mineral. And therefore time price him go above a certain amount, the tax will be more. Go tax him probably even more than 50%, because they make a windfall gain. When time price low resources him go down, him no unfair law too. They still make a profit, but tax by him lower too. So him shift follow the fluctuations low price globally. So him fair, him not penalize him ogata. But at the same time, right now under the current scheme, because the price is so high, Olgatna make more money, not the state, not the people. So it's a windfall, they'll take all of it. Hey, I'm no fair. People must benefit, country must benefit too, yeah. But our laws are so out of date, and especially the taxation system, that we haven't adapted as quickly. So right now there's a huge windfall, and we're kissing it goodbye. There's no amendment come law taxation regime to, even in the interim, to have a short-term measure. So if we divorce those two objectives, we don't have this argument ceases to have any force. If equity or distribution, now the issue, well, we can still have that by the sheer or the mere use of a taxation process. So if we say land blow you, hem blow you, including everything underneath blow you, and we still control licensing, environment by still control. You need development consent, you need licensing, and in that licensing will be different processes, hoops that have to be jumped over, and those licenses be the basis for imposition of taxation, revenue resource taxation. It would be better than what it is at the moment, but it would not aggravate landowners feeling, hey, government come on something over time, man. It's a valid question. You may think also about wait man now, you may keep him something. No any law blow wait man laws land no you may no government laws him. So I think we need to liberate ourselves from this thinking that
Exactly.
if we give it up, hey, osem baogat we no government mineral, but no more, we can still achieve that through taxation and redistribution that comes from resource rent framework. So it is a disappointment for me, PS, but it's, I admit it's not a matter primarily for this bill to address, but it does impinge on how you've approached it. Also, Ogat Law drafting unit taleme, this bill assumes 6 feet here. You haven't taken it on board to say, no, we're going to change it. So there's no change in that thinking. That to me is very disappointing. And I don't know, after all the consultation, this issue, Ogat Rama Miwal Noi. Ogat Takite Miwal Hem Olo Yeman, Tamiwal Golo consultation, this 6 feet issue here. People raising, because of every island, you me, I think, what Talem Yeman. And still you not made the change. You like him for what Talem Hamas time before you send him. We're making laws for our people. We do. I understand. I note the one of Talem. It's for leaders to say what I'm good for the entire country. But because we've limited the way we've approached it and not thought outside the box. So you think only way for do the mining na 6 feet must stop state. It's not the only way. There are better ways where both strengthen landowner rights and still achieve redistribution of the national or the commonwealth. So yeah, that one was a little bit disappointment. Lumi, that's the biggest one. If we can fix that, it will achieve a lot both socially, economically. I was looking forward to the bill addressing it substantively, making big change, Lohem.
Thank you, Leader. Before PSME comment come, disappointment block committee. In terms of the common law, government law UK hem arrived on Solomon Island before indigenous people blame Tola. Hem no make sense lo me. Meeting say people stop law here first time now. They are the landowners, indigenous. Then government just come behind and then take over. But the lawyer come and then the common law. So I'm fully in agreement with the leader of the opposition. I think Imtala no for follow too much. Kata tintin blow white man and custom bloom to and what the people there and resource on. So 6 feet, yeah, I think by disappointment, but this is also a bill that by Emi Barawa helping him to understand him better because of geographical existence blame tola, law people blame tola, provinces and also. So yes, PS, you would like to add on? Yes, colleague John Tinku, before you respond, PS.
Thank you, Chair. Just the Chair with him lead the opposition, raise and finish. But if we raise it again, him just showing that how important that issue is. Yeah? PS, you just gave me also the answer no more. So this Palabilia is founded on 6 feet principle here. Yes or no?
Was a lawyer way.
Just for making people believe that yeah or
I wish to give you a straight yes and no question, Honourable MP, and as Honourable Leader of Opposition him expressing disappointment blame. I'm pretty sure that everybody else is not agreed to law that one, but the basis of why it's still being there is basically for fair distribution no more.
So that is the basis.
Yes, yes. So
I think you have answered my question.
yeah, for fair distribution no more. I know it would have an impact or a challenge onto this current law if federalism come on, because then we will have, you know, maybe decision makers at state level, but they want to redirect things. Now, just to give you a quick example, and this is the basic principle around why it's maintained as this. Me no se mi complain. Me blog wale tu, yeah. I've never seen much of what Coleridge has been producing. Simply as that. The province is also complaining for its people, but project here, no man. And this all comes, I don't want to go into details of academics and theoretical issues around here, but there is an issue of resource scarce theory that we probably need to really grab hold of. And the theory simply speaks of those that have more are getting poorer and poorer and poorer. Those that have less are getting richer and richer. I tell you, Fiji doesn't have a gold mine as a magnitude in Garem. It doesn't have a nickel mine. But look at their economy. If you may go down more to the finer details of appreciating local landowners for the onam saleva, you would note where we are going with this. But I'm not saying that the idea is wrong, but have no more basis. Thank you, John.
Yeah, the follow-up
Thank you.
question, Oma.
Yes, Colin.
On the, you have given the committee the consultation summary. You got any full consultation report now? For say, what now Ogatalo province or say? Not your summary, but Ogatalo na milakaridim.
Thank you. Yes, PS, would you like to respond to that? Or any of your team members?
Thank you, Chair, for me making response. So during that time when we were preparing summary, at time no me no garem, so report him lo there, but me because consultations have started 2012, so that is why me make him come summary now, but me can produce him come report there.
Yeah, Chair, point below, we are making the law for people blame me. Yeah, we will need for looking what now or the talem. This summary, him no talem me vala. What now or the say? But what if vala talem me vala no inside the summary. So that is the difference. And on the issue of 6 feet, you know, yeah, him no really a big issue. But him apply to all the people who did close the river, you know, him no 6 feet, yeah, him 2 meters, 3, something or same law. Sad law river, yeah. Or him uniform right across now.
Se mo renole boxe dia lo antab ground no tu. Ino 6 feet.
And PS my time of the game goal reach, yeah. 6 feet go down now. The game go 6 feet go down now. So in fact you are digging blue people no way. This time you custom that one another 6 feet go down. Hem na blow government, yeah, blow state. Time you custom 6 feet, yeah, 6 feet go down ma. See, I think something we need for tidy him up a little bit.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, member or committee, John. I think the thing to be clear here is ownership. ownership of minerals. Basically, the ownership of minerals hemi vested lo state and the people of Solomon Islands. Hem basically also no. So in this case, even royalty, yeah, if you look at it in that definition, the royalty itself, unless government like CRM, member CRM, otherwise it shouldn't be. That's by way of definition. So the percentages thereof too, if we want to maintain it by the definition that the mineral is owned by the state and the people of Solomon Islands, currently the current law hemi put him royalty law 3%. So SIG's share law him by 1.5. It cannot go as an owner. It cannot go below 1.5. I mean the rationale where you look him in, because hemlo people and the state, yeah. So land, I don't argue, or land ownership is a separate issue, by me say. When it comes to minerals here now, whether hemi surface no more or hemi go down 400 meters deep, it all comes back to the same definition also. So land is taken care of by the various mechanisms. Unfortunately, I think the leader of opposition get to somewhere we can appropriately taxing, and also, but by way of definition, whether how mineral, even water to some extent. That's why we're having issues when you may try for imposing. I mean, what people rightly claiming that the water is theirs. But if you come back to consider water as a mineral, Hemblo state, kind of also, yeah. So I think that would be the explanation Ms. Avago. But I would anticipate that we need to appropriately garner some complementary mechanisms from other government departments to appropriately put this one in place. But for purpose of this bill, I think it's there for as it is.
Thank you, Ms. Yes, Frida?
Yeah,
Honorable
thank you.
Frida. Yeah, Frida.
Thank you, Chair. Me just like for add-on number, in like Representative Leumilo attorney. The experience number me getting from logging, yeah? Like the government, you may say we don't need to. You may stay like before. You may follow law of the colonial time, yeah? But now the land and the resources simply you may. Looking at the resources where you may now discussing, where you may try for come up with a very good bill for whereby benefiting now both parties. Yeah, how me look at it? Like looking at the logging, 25%. Him confirm him blue government. Yeah, why me look low here? Why don't we come up with him certain conditions? Yeah, like you may say or same. Environment, him give him consent for confirming that when the investor him carry out operations law there, he makes sure that him not destroying environment blame me, but he must be work in a way where comply law blame me, where you may serve him. That's why him receive him. But looking at the conditions where you may talk about him, like even say 6%, 6 meter down low there, but if you look low logging, 25%, we have blow government. Me think the board or government no more should come up with a decision for making a good condition for the landowners. Blame me, but by me look him for consider like okay, that for resources are owned by state, yeah. But the land where him deposit land him owned by landowner. So at the moment, if me say landowner not happy. But according to our law, the resources are owned by the state. So what me look law, you may come up with them that you may need for amend them or you may need for consider give him good conditions where the government or board you may as a government no more you may should decide rather than you may say you may refer back or something have been colonial time now put him come law. Whereas you may no more should him you may change him that for a lawyer for you may recognize him now or the landowner blame me because of the deposit him stay low land law. So how me look here conditions now like if you me look logging 25% them confirm where him blow government 10% you may give low land which is look straight but him not fair enough. So what me look law discussion where just win add on no you me government make him up certain percentage by me give for government put him inside loan you acted that him become effective rather than him stop say oh because law or him been or what have been but you mean owner you mean right owner or the resources owner and the landowners. So what me look lawyer because the complaint I think was every time you hear him landowner not happy you mean should give him certain conditions or percentage where him is fair enough and who not for do it who not for do him you mean the government of the day or the board. You see, how me look like maybe is rather than you may say, oh, how not for improvement. Whereas deposit load there or the resources load there, him should be benefiting now. Resources are enough for the country and our people. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Frida Tuki. And Amy, go back law something we interest government and blohuya. Government by the people for the people, and so imtel for to straight no more people, government, resource owners, investor, everyone imtel for straight more. So that's basically what we are talking about. The point raised by PS in terms of what the resources stuff, but suppose imtel living ko for the land owner, by what now that one straight one. That is why we have a government representing its people because hem government by the people for the people. So government na you lithium people blue you, but hem no meaning that you do and you unfair loketa. So it's an opportunity for him to looks strong like him, and if need correction, make him fit me Solomon context, then him to look like him. It's the opportunity. Thank you, Rita.
Just to balance it, I mean, so it's not tunnel visioned, this issue. The critical issue, as you've rightly pointed out, is the redistribution of it is national wealth. It's a commonwealth, wealth that's common to all of us. But also in PSU Talem, you man lo gwalkana, but you no feeling what na benefit come from Goldridge. Member below Central Gualcana, I'm complaining of floor here too. Yeah? So if people who are in landowning groups or in the province that there's a mining asset or no feeling, it does really beg the question that the redistribution mechanisms are not effective, and so we need to look at that, and that's another discussion that must happen. And so him link all of this fella, even if we don't go down federal state route, even provincial, just current existing provincial government, there should be a tiered system. If you may exploit him, you may harvest him gold or Goldridge, of course landowners must benefit more than anybody else. And then of course followed by province where him happen lohem, then the rest of the country. You cannot just take them no more, then you equally distribute everyone fair no more, including what landowner too. What may I'm sorry look at too man, no anything of them. and even Golkana province. So that's why a shift to a resource rent regime would be far fairer. One, it'll raise more revenue, and to enable a tiered system where province should be able to receive also a sizable benefit from it, and then landowners. So that about Ministry of Finance come by as following this one. Really, it should come with this bill here. There should be another amendment to effect it that must come with the bill, so we know that the overview of this piece of reform has been comprehensively thought about, that we're not just doing one bit and leaving out this other bit where Member Blovatu talk about here now is the resource rent taxation regime. That really must happen alongside it. Of course, alongside low royalties here, royalties is small to us here, but we may not even need to be talking about royalties if we have this other resource rent taxation regime in place. Government can be getting maybe even up to 55% of it without even holding a share in the companies. So that's one sideline. If we keep the 6 feet rule, okay, well, in this law, we may keep him. I move to a resource rent taxation regime, and we will still achieve the same objective, and then redistribution mechanism now must look good. If we don't keep the 6 feet rule, we still move to a resource rent taxation system, and still achieve a redistribution objective load there. But it means that then the landowners must have capacity to engage competently to secure their rights. And so that one too is another matter in the bill that I'm interested in, seeing how the bill provides guidance, perhaps, if we say the least invasive word, guidance, but perhaps even a template for how now landowners must engage with investors, that it's beyond the surface area access agreement here. There has to be some meaningful boxes ticked here, that they're just not being walked over, and there has to be some oversight, lohem, independent oversight. That's why this whole MRA idea, me, control serious one, me a little bit. I see the argument that you put up in terms of capacity, capacity, but capacity we can buy. If we don't have the capacity, import the capacity. Import it from New Guinea or elsewhere. And again, resource rent taxation would raise the kind of revenue to be able to afford the kind of competence we need to make sure that an MRA by really work up guidance or templates to make sure landowners are not being crooked. Important here. You may get used to holding. I mean, some are holding big selling, but most majority you may not look in big selling here. So I'm easy too much for man come and then a little bit small selling. You may have big but logat no anything no more. You may assign karag go logat something kind of so spoil them you too much. So if 6 feet rule him no more, then all of that authority goes back to the landowner, then him become at risk now, or this one's assigned karage for a little bit, $2,000-3,000 no more. Again, if we went down that route, it's not a dead end. It's the place of legislation to set these kinds of guidelines that must be fulfilled. So I just get the sense, PS, that on this matter, the discussion, the consultations, I'm all right now, him sound also everyone know like him, 6 feet rule out. But the discussion come up low level blow you now has not been robust enough to look at all options. If you were to effect it, would it still safeguard this redistribution public policy objective here? My argument is it can still be safeguarded while still strengthening ownership of land. But I get the sense that that discussion did not happen. And this one side, if you may give him up, 6 feet rule, we lose control now. That, I think, is a false dichotomy. It's a false assumption. This bill could have addressed it. But in any case, you already have made a policy decision. We're not going to force you to do anything to block him, but we're just raising our disappointment no more that it wasn't looked at as another option.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, legal trust person.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Leader of Opposition. Very good comments. And I just want to talk a bit on the 6 feet rule because, like I've mentioned, by principle, that's how it is drafted in the current bill. It's, like I said earlier, it's not a 6 feet specific rule because it's about the ownership of minerals and not like land as opposed to land. Like land is by the people, ownership of minerals is the state and people. So I think this is just in compliance to the constitutional provision that natural resources of our country are vested in the people and government of Solomon Islands. So I mean, I just want to clear it here that we are not trying to mimic or comply to our old colonial masters rule or whatnot, but it's clearly stated in our constitution, and this is also enshrined in the provision of ownership in the bill. So just to clarify
but
that.
The converse to that is if we went the other way and the bill does away with 6 feet rule, we still would not be breaching that because the way the constitution is worded is very general. And bill would not be ultra virus that provision in the constitution. So my issue is this discussion was not had. That's the problem. And have you had that discussion, like a meaningful engagement on this issue? Perhaps you would have considered other policy options, a direction where Bilia might have taken. That's some disappointment on my PS. You've taken we respect that you've taken a particular direction on policy choice like this one. And we'll have to beg the Minister of Finance to bring something to complement it so that we can really benefit.
Thank you, Leader. Nara General Tintinoma PS. If you may reflect back law, logging, forestry, I mean, I'm corner, and you may regret him that you may not even save him any selling for him. Government that taken, but no any savings. Fisheries been talking and looking at. Pai mi must establish him trust fund. Make him save selling. You may living for at beginning the future. Pai mi no stop current beginning the PS. Lo here it's an opportunity as well in the mining. And look also main vehicle there or any place where him bar stand up inside the bill. If no more, I mean, I'm policy decision that okay, look different. Me fala just me make him no more general observation and comments no more. But
yeah, thank you very much. I think that's a very good observation. For Garem, a sovereign wealth fund law here now is something that is not captured, but we have, if you look at the part 14 speaks of a mineral resource fund, yeah? That one might not be the same as what you make mention of, but we are thinking of having this establishment dedicated fund for managing payments associated with them mineral tenements, whereby Mifala thinking MEM should ensure transparent and accountable handling of royalties, compensations and other payments. So in a way it's an oversight of proper accounting of mineral revenues. So yeah, I know it's not to an extent of having what you think of, but also we have been discussing about something of the like, especially also for even imposing levy and also logata companies and also how that can happen is something that we probably by me no think passing this bill by him stop them, but we will be discussing further with finance too, this one. As you would probably note, the establishment of such bodies as Mineral Resource Authority would also look into this, plus Bagota Save get financed by Ogata mining levy and kind of some. I think that's what happened in Papua New Guinea. But also at the moment, as me say, we are yet to be confident no more low capacity and also to man such bodies, and so him no taken care of. But it is very, very important, even low distribution of royalties and also if you ask our mines division staff too, when it comes to appropriately, not that you pay him water from this fellow's land, but at least appropriately support him, yeah? That 1.5% royalty, yeah? We have our hardworking staff that are also trying to do their best, but when it comes to budgetary allocations, even for that, yeah, him no compared to what the sector is producing and the amount of royalty that is coming in for appropriately also in a way appreciate him division, so you increase him allocation also. We've been talking with finance on this, but not through the bill, where we could, have some shares also internally for supporting Noma Mines Division, because we, and also even during low budget bricks, if you look at it properly, at times there are millions and millions of dollars coming through. Me feel aware, because we've been signing off royalties and also for landowners and of course for provinces, but we don't know the 1.5 portion. Where does that go into? So that is basically why I think that a transparent mechanism be in place, so that also if it goes to the consolidated by, but then him go fund him one for a bridge, oh yeah, him good, or road lo there, yeah, him result lo waka blue me, but at the moment we just couldn't see also. So anyway, I think I dragged it a bit, but these are areas that we would be pretty much discussing with finance Lohem too, and yeah, thank you. Unless any other colleagues may wish to discuss on the same, but yeah, I think that's basically the answer by me, so we give him chair. Thank you.
Thank you, PS.
Yeah, on the matter of the fund, you know, last time Lord Goldridge, I think it was something like $18 million in some account law ministry. I mean, should have been royalties or part of it royalties. I mean, this is way before your time, of course. So we do have, I think there are some risks there, but it increases the burden on your governance at the ministry level to make sure that all that funds here. I mean, the establishment of a resource special fund is to give you flexibility. No go down low, side long, big basket long treasury. But it does therefore bring onerous responsibilities where ministry more have to take him up, and you'll need the expertise also, you know, some accountants and people like that. Make sure that they manage the fund well. And I'm even including payments of profit or dividends or simple go if you got Lanona Holem shares. Why do you even want to get involved with that? In Goldridge, they have 10%. So if Goldridge makes profit, 10% goes into the Goldridge landowners company or whatever it is. But according to this bill, that payment will come into the special fund first time. Then special fund, now better give him Golo. You know, if you're talking about royalties, maybe there's an argument there because all 3% Hemlo government. So him come, then government at its own volition gives it to province and to landowners. But in terms of profit share, that's a commercial arrangement between the shareholders. So if a community or a community company holds shares, why do you want the fund involved in receiving those profits first time and then just give him go? The other point I wanted to raise is to not conflate the two, the special fund and a sovereign wealth fund. So the issue with the sovereign wealth fund, it's important. You must do him. Now goodbye go. Mining him or some logging. Time him finish. We have generated billions of dollars from logging, but now that logging go down, we find our country on an extremely unsustainable footing. So we mustn't repeat that. It's a terrible, terrible mistake. So the thing with a sovereign wealth fund is that the incomes generated from, at the national level, let me talk about, not incomes where should go to landowners and perhaps province, that those incomes, low national level, go into that fund whole. That fund is an investment fund. I mean, invest there everywhere in the world, make money. When it does make money, makes a lot of profit, we hope, then some of that profit will then be put back into the national budget. So for years and years into the future, that fund will continue to grow and generate, even go what mining here close, and sustainable into the future. We have to do that. That's not a matter for you, of course. That's a matter for finance. So it's another matter that we will be putting in our recommendation to say to them, with, you know, for financing, one is to set up this sovereign wealth fund by law, statute, and two, to shift to a resource rent taxation regime so that we're maximizing benefits right across the board, not only to the state, but also, of course, through the state to the provinces and Oketa resource or landowners. If we did that, I think the equity and fair distribution we talk about by him good, but not only good for now, no more time mining him close, him good into the future. Sustainable future generations would still be living off it. Complain blue first time you man logwal kana, but you know if you feel him any goodness come out from Goldridge, it's a fair comment. It's a fair comment on the national budget and the taxation regime and the redistribution. If it works, our healthcare system should be good, our education system should be good, our infrastructure should be good. And if how you say, oh, Minofi film, you expect him selen kasim hand blue or no that one, but you must go. Mama must deal with him heart blue. Because that's a moral question. But you feel him in terms of good public services, good infrastructure, good transportation, good health, good education. That's what we want the minerals to be funding. This is why we're on about making sure we're getting maximum a return for our scarce resources. So I thought I should just clarify that we shouldn't conflate the two. Because they serve very different purposes.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, PS.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you too, Leader. And for those listening, I think very important for me differentiating the two. Yeah, if you like, what we are thinking here, Leader and committee, is in probably during the interim into the establishment era MRA. This is something that will potentially transition into the establishment law policy level. Eh? So we are thinking of. And I can also remember then the issue about 18 million. I know that there is a lot of questions around that one, but to me, if we have such a mechanism in place, it will be very, very clear on how it's been dispersed and something also. So me, and just so you are aware too, giving an example that the MRA law Papua New Guinea, what we found out was they even have they have the responsibility of taking care and administering royalties Blogota people. And I cannot comment on the dividends that were declared by their partnership, through their partnership, but what I know is there are departments within the government mechanism through MRA as an authority that often now administrating properly and even finding ways local landowners here for what is engaged fully. Especially low commercial engagements and also. So it's a kind of a resource base where the capacity that is not there with the people, the government assisted them through that, not through the ministry also. So, but in the interim, we were taking the intention of try for looking first time as through this transitioning phase and then to the full establishment. I totally agree with the leader that it will be a challenge for what are resource owners me entrusting me logata selen logata tu also me, but we need to discuss with them and story good with them what building understanding and also law processes here. But I take on board the cautionary statement and that was made in relation to the management level where Mifala law ministry back then are not dealing with the situation, especially law 18 million. And so any other establishments, especially with this one here, this time around, we need to be having a clear understanding the need for that capacity so that people are able for managing properly. And also, thank you, Chair.
So with regards to MRA, the Experience Law New Guinea, so we don't have it here, and part of it now, you said transition, part of it now, this was special funding. What does the MRA in New Guinea do that we cannot do, that this bill will not provide for? What are the missing services?
Lo MRA, they are the MRA is an independent regulator of the mineral sector of Papua New Guinea, and even money that comes through the sector, it's managed within there, where departments established and also law there, even to an extent of registrations and also him no sit down with them ministry. Him sit down now, lo MRA.
Registration.
The registration of companies and also because the registrar sits in there. For us, we will still have a registrar, but when we sit down, because MRA is a totally independent regulator. In here, we holding part of it, and then even inspectorates, MRA na doing, not mines division also. But they are fully equipped with mine engineers and also the level of inspecting mines a little bit on a level where even garam remote sensing systems that you see down here, you see the haulage and also the trucks inside low movements, it's just appearing in the screen. And so these are the level of expertise that you may also need in, where at the moment we still don't have, and so me fella just think of preparing the ministry to be fit for that before we may establish him a fully fledged mineral authority, independent of the ministry too.
So me worry more, man. You just make him back to that, me no sleep good night, yes. Because I mean, our experience, our experience so far, is that we are wholly 100% vulnerable. We're totally 100% reliant on what the mining companies tell us about their haulage. So they tell us we've got 60,000 tons of wet ore. We say amen, because there's no way we can disagree with them. And that fall ore of this grade, and we say amen, because there's no other way we can know. And associated minerals, no anything no more. Bauxite level no more. There's no way we can disagree with them. This one is making me vulnerable for good. We have no idea what's happening out there. I'm also, we've had this experience of logging too, I think recently, but in some of those earlier days here, or the mid days, not quite the earlier days, but the mid days here, time restrictions come all by around log export law, FATA no more now, law UULA no more now. So then time would declare out say out a mixed red species, mixed white species, ma where FATA now go now, UUL now go now. We had no idea. We became so vulnerable. Of course, Saddle Forest, you go stand on city, you look out no FATA no UUL, but you minimum make money, I think drunk first time now, so I'm a little bit hard. But Saddle mining, you me bar no idea straight now. This for no idea business, me worry to Muslim man. But you mean no idea go kasi mo time. And how much are we talking about? Law establishment of MRA, it just seems to me we're missing an opportunity to really bring it in immediately rather than wait for another 10 years more. Man, another 10 years more, how much gold more by go man ay? How much nickel no by go na? You mean no sabe what more go with him? Are we talking $100 million to set it up? And the scholarships for the different fields, mining engineer or geologist, this, that, and so forth. Why aren't we training those? We should have been training these guys the last 10, 15 years, both for the industry, make them go work for mining companies, and for the regulatory responsibilities. Why haven't we got those? And if we get them, then pay blue public service no good more, but you will run away go more. You will, because Jesus lo hat blue will no, we will walk over gaman yet. If no Jesus, he will run away finish here. Because hey, what mining company pay big here? This is why we need an MRA, so we can pay them well, pay you guys well. Go work for the MRA. So we can pay you $1 million. What the market pays is what you should be paid. So you do a really good regulatory job. But if you keep him with power law ministry, you keep him law public service, hey, yes, no what you SS4, you temptation there no more because SS4 fit him well, but no fit him you. Because you man qualify. So I just see on that side of it, the technical drain side of it, the MRA also addresses that question of we pay the technical people well and then expect them to really do a good regulatory job of compliance enforcement and so forth. So I think we're missing a bit of an opportunity there. And this brings me to that lab, you know. You mean just finally we allocated some serious money, recent supplementary budget, yeah?
No paper,
The one say racing one out pay first time now because no with Kasim December no pay payment. Then next year more you repeat him same something. Labia is a critical bit in our compliance enforced mechanisms here. But it just seems to be same by you fund them what man go overseas more than by you fund them this one labe. Me worry about this one, our sense of priority as you know, government as a whole, now me talk about. I'm just no focused. I'm also you tell him first time here. Little bit recognize him come sector here. Forestry sector complain of this one long time too. You would raise him a fair chunk of government revenues for so many years, but occasion for goal of forestry so that you know not motivated to do the enforcement compliance and very low. So this thing has a ripple effect. So. Yeah, man, this MRA is a bit of a, now that you describe it in a little bit more detail, my disappointment has increased. Yes.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, PS.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Leader. Yes, indeed, what we can say is there are dialogues at the moment. Internally in trying to prioritize scholarships for students taking up these courses. But firstly, by me say, the establishment of an authority, him not that by you can secure him funds somewhere and when we run with it, it really needs a very robust, capacitated team, yeah. And so
did you look at some costings? How much would it cost?
That one now I cannot comment on, but we are gradually, with the understanding that we are trying to develop with them MRA Papua New Guinea. Me go ahead story around in that one, and also it calls for a robust discussion with them, Ministry of Education, in terms of training. One area that we are facing challenges on is other students blame me or no really into earth sciences as a preference, or going into doing mining engineer or geology. You know, we are faced with a situation where there are others that, and maybe the majority, that wants to have white-collar jobs and also me. And so we left the sector with an estimated less than 20 geologists since ministry has started 2 years. And so these are but few challenges that we face up with. In terms of monitoring, yes, I firstly comment on the PAC2, Public Accounts Committee, in the support and also law establishment of the geochemical laboratory. We gradually also elevating now the confidence and we have in the records that we've been receiving from companies. But as you probably note, we need to elevate this level of competency inside law sector. If it is truly a sunrise sector, we really need to cover every area around him. Yeah? But minulakem for you lose hope too much. We have our guys around. There are ways and means that we can do it by simply stopping no more mining license issued, and then until such a time when we are ready, then we could give out more. But these are issues that Baham need him a lot of consultations too, looking at the economy and also. But I really appreciate the level at which you come, Lohem, in posing these questions of readiness. Yeah? I for one trust my officers, but then to certain degree, Bamifal are not able to perform too, also, because how many inspectorate we have can only travel to, firstly, when the finances are ready. Secondly, is frequency, him depend on finances too, yeah. Also.
Now you need him MRA for him.
Yes.
I mean, Goldridge was complaining to us that the services they need from you, from the ministry, is just not there. And it's holding them back too, yeah. And we want them to be getting out there more and more, increased production and so forth, and they want to be compliant. So it really is an issue, and the government's going to be making from Goldridge from 2029 $1.7 billion a year. That's a significant sum. And if 100 million of that should be allocated to the MRA, it seems to me a paltry amount. 1.7 billion, 100 million for enforcement, compliance, quality assurance, and so forth. And then another 40 million for LABE. Man, no longer by 1.7, and Goldridge 11, no, by more than 2 billion now. Because then we will be a little bit more specific in some things we're not looking at the moment. So it just seems to me this will finance itself. And if you then look at nickel and the other, mine assets, the question of whether we have the capacity to fund it, I don't see that as a problem. We can fund it. And if in the interim we can't, we should be getting the mining companies to contribute to it, because it serves their operations also. Mining company we no like for contribute. Fly by night the genuine mining company would want to contribute, want to have a good regulatory compliance enforcement regime in place here. So, PS, I know it's not in here, but wakalohem now. And it's not a matter where you need to go consult route law every island more. This one technical something. You look one more you can do me. You sing him praises blogger, they seem to be doing the right thing. Well, you may start with him. Then you may adjust as we go along. But it just seems to me the human resource limitations we have would be addressed by this setup here. Because we will be paying you guys, the technical people, to be better at what you do, and not be vulnerable to corruption and all that kind of thing. Where you may look him come in big problem logging, and even low mining too. Public service pay here. Here level no big, but a selling no anything. So compliance and enforcement really does require officers to must stand strong lo Christian values blog if no more man temptation for sign him or something, yeah, more right, no more, big temptation. Yeah. So I don't think you want to be postponing that MRA idea for too long, man. You know, 1-2 years, you will must come back with him something. No 3-4. And by too much now, because number of shipments by go look at something, you know, solve. The other big issue I wanted to raise was with regards to, and you tell us how the bill deals with that, or even if it is a matter for the bill, but this debate between the export of raw materials, raw minerals, or ore, and processing, and the extent of processing in country. Of course, there are economics to it too. You've got to have economies of scale to justify setting up what could be an expensive processing facility. But is that a matter for this bill? And if it is, what now some policy outcomes or decisions you've taken on that?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members, and thank you, Leader of the Opposition, Honourable MP for Kilanglanga for that question. Yes, it's indeed a concern, not only for leaders but also officials too, that we need to deal with the current situation of exports of raw materials. Yeah? We are addressing it, but through the regulations, law regulate him now, by way of firstly increasing the royalty rates. So in the new bill, those that intends to continue the exercise of exporting raw materials, but faced up with a call to take care of a royalty payment of 9%. Those that by doing semi-processed, like concentrates logo ridge, Bahem royalty Bahem becomes 7% from the 3 that is currently. So those that by no doing processing, downstream processing straight in country, the royalty to that tag at 5% from the 3. So these are policy areas that will try for him, forcing companies for what must doing downstream processing. So if what doing downstream processing on ground, they pay lesser percentage of royalty. So that is basically how the bill hemi crafted to take care of that. Having said that,
so that would be achieved by way of regulation after
yes,
the bill?
Yes, by way of regulation. Having said that, during our consultations, we also faced up with comments and also finishes from companies that they could no longer be able to operate, but that is the position of some policy directives and taken. Thank you, Chair.
Does not operate on which of those? 9, 7?
The 9, yeah.
Or 9.
Chair. Yes, please, sir. Some of our problems here, you might solve them if you got maybe a smelter in country or a refinery in country. So I might stop them, maybe send them go to volume of soil without knowing what na inside. So a common practice now, like Gold Ridge, send them inside container or talo nickel, to bats go na. And the capacity or the volume or I am go out there, Imino ka remi track record lem. And some follow do kasem nar site o they reject. Them no good. So by the time come lo fair sharing ya, but la nona miss out more. But if you may have something in country, like a smelter for nickel or a refinery for gold, then everything can process in country. No? Or even if you may sell them go to world market or the minerals blame, it's minerals from Solomon Islands. Currently, the gold blame, until the refinery overseas, China, gold blow China, no, to sell them go to world market. No any name Solomon gold. So you may lose face lot of valuable of the resources blaming. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, colleague, member, Honorable George. Yes, PS, you have to respond.
Thank you very much, Honorable MP and member law regime that hola very, very visionary comment here. Indeed, for me and the team, we totally agree with you that having a smelter here, also partly Goldridge is doing, they also have a smelter in place, but it could doing gold ore, yeah? But at the same time, they are semi-processing the ore because of the mineralogy there, so the economical viability of the project, they cannot continue to process gold ore, gold bar also, though they did it together as we speak. Now, whilst the recommendation is really welcome, just to give you some heads up, Numa, it's one of the government's policy for establishing a refinery in Nicolia, and we did some studies through, I think Director Mines by him confirming Geo Mine Australia or something, just to do a feasibility study on the establishment, and the report that we got was that much of the information we will send them go, he might be substandard in a way that the concentration, because we don't have a proper laboratory here, so the equipment we have then, that was 3 years ago, no reflecting the equipment that we should be using for assessing our samples. But in any case, they gave us a rough estimate of having to have a refinery for nickel lo Isabel. It would cost 1.3 billion Aussie. So with that, we continue to finish it up, and just to give some clear, informative sessions to cabinet too, that area. But that is the kind of investments we'll probably be looking at if we have to do up a refinery, Nicolia. For Goldridge here now, I think we need to prompt them to stop doing exports of concentrates and maybe focus on the gold bar. But then it comes down to the type of ore that by processing, yeah? When you have oxide ores, different from water sulfides right deep inside. It's less expensive to process sulfides than oxide ores, where look at the oxide ores in Goldridge, the mineralogy there quite tricky, where you also got high carbon, where become gold grabber inside low oil. And gold grabber law there, hemi, the oxides were hemi pyrite in essence. Also, hem appear also in fool's gold there, where hemi arsenopyrite. These are few technical issues where you may no need for probably go into details, Lohem, but that is a complexity where St. Barbara hemigaram before, and so they cannot potentially continue with them trying for running that for processing a plant here with and through the oxide ores where 60% below gold here, him ended up inside low tailings here. Sorry, 40%. 60% no more to process him low gold buyer. So the technique that was used there then now by the company is go semi, so they can still be able to make money out of the lower grade oxides here. The sulfide ore now Fusungo for creating gold bars also, and it makes the project feasible and sustainable too. Unfortunately, so it's cheaper to get the oxide ore as concentrates, and then you focus. Hopes Blue Gold Ridge is they probably will go underground mine, which they get deeper and deeper also, yeah? But again, it comes back to how much benefit. I think that is the area of concern, and which needs appropriate policy directives. But having said that, having a processing plant, a refinery plant, is a very good idea. It will add value, but the capital expense here now for initiating, maybe if we have more money, you can build someone that is very, very serious, and companies that are financially fit, they can come and put the refineries. So just to add Noma, Lo Isabelle, what we were advised on was we can do direct shipment of ore for the next, then, or let's say 5 years, now 3 years, then you should stop in order to make the viability of that refinery in place. So, and then it can still, based on the resources made available at the time, I'm not too sure whether the resource has increased from what low feasibility study, but if the resources increase, then it might change the whole story. But we can still do up with the refinery for the next 10 years, sorry. Yeah. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, PS.
After
Yes,
that
leader.
After that kind, I mean, it's a different conversation, but it is relevant for this. I mean, 10 years without economies of scale, or with limited economies of scale, is a 1.3 billion Australian investment. 1.3, how much now, man? 10 billion over Sol money.
6, 7.
Yeah. I mean, the issues they're having with the nickel refinery law in New Caledonia, I think are relevant for you may look like. So on one point, the ideal is, of course, we process everything here. We totally add value. And the other extreme is, if there's no economies of scale, or that scale is limited, and of course we permit exports, but there has to be some way that we still maximize that the benefits that are coming out of it. This is why at the base minimum, I think we have no option. This MRA has to come almost immediately. At the very least, without refineries and so forth, we will have there should be a robust compliance enforcement capacity. And if we have to buy it, given the projected revenues from those mines, it should be enough to afford those and much more affordable. But continue to have a look at the inferred resources from Ogat mines. Yeah? If you put Choiseul and Isabel together, how many years would a refinery will be justifiable to have a refinery at that level of cost? Something for Ivola and finance to look like.
Excuse me, Chair, if I may. With the nature of the establishments of the refinery, I think committee or we can recall during the time of Sumitomo, they only see it viable to get a refinery in place if one for company Noma him integrating Renault, Isabel and Choiseul, and that's why they face so much issues around at that time for Holem or the tenements yet together, but then they ended up not doing it because of decisions that were made then, and so they only put the processing plant that should put him here or to go plant him lo Philippines. So yeah, but an integrated approach is something that they see will make the establishment of a refinery here conducive, not kind of piecemeal, one whole company, one whole place, also me.
So how do we prevent that? I mean that was an argument they made very forcefully, and it's a very valid argument. Even on Isabel, Trival Tenements lo Isabel, different companies again more too. It's just we shoot ourselves in the foot when we are giving small tenements to relatively very small companies too, that have absolutely no financial muscle to do anything seriously. In fact, in some of them, speculators even. We just shoot ourselves. These are the governance issues for the mines board and the minister under the existing old legislation here. But how do we in this new bill here, we prevent that from happening so that there is, if hemi true now, you may lanem lesson you may like in processing, then you must look at economies of scale, and economies of scale demand them that tenements are held to give that kind of economies of scale to justify a serious, significant investment in refining. Does the bill provide for that? That is, give priority to that kind of thinking? Or is it, still leaving me vulnerable to, you give him 10 mentos, you may do the concession here and there, it's a small one no more.
Thank you, Leader. Or any policy block ministry for Bayumin or refine lo country, so tenements takanoma. Make economics of scale in Minasa meeting. Na uncle lo lulukulam no me, PS. Please respond to that.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Leader. I won't say that the hem policy blow company, government or the ministry to not put the refineries. We would love to. The complexity that there was faced where him even maybe can be linked to governance is situation on ground when economy and here when we faced up with situations related to COVID and also here, hemi possibly a risk law government governance decisions here lo how me look him but in any case we still entertain refiners if they can be able to. That would be the best way that the bill is trying to get to, and so we will impose the least royalty to those companies where Bharat are willing for doing, but for government to take the lead in establishing one now is something that I'm also, I cannot make comments over. But if companies with big muscles come around and they wish to establish a refinery or a partnership with the government, Lohem, such decisions will have to be relooked into, but it would be good if we have a refinery in place.
I mean, one way to aid and abet that kind of process would have been, it's a bit late now, but say you combine what Sumitomo had on Choiseul and Isabel, all three tenements of Isabel, you package them as one package and then put them out to international tender and then make efficient decision-making process lohem. You mean last time you got an international tender too, then them go end up lokot, them stuck lokot, go. We have to avoid a situation where every mining and they go end up stuck no more lokot, go. You mean anything happen. But if we package it and we make it clear that this one make them so that they're feasible for a refinery, so that when they're putting the bids together, they're thinking about that and they're submitting on that. And if what say him no feasible, okay, well you fall out low. Listen, man we him side do him, okay, him no approve yet too. You go check him side do him through here, got him selling, got him connections for raising kind of selling here. Those are issues. I'm not sure, is that provided for in the bill? That enable MUFL to be able to do that? Director?
Yeah, thank you, Chair and Member Blow Bills and Legislation Committee. So, this for a new bill, me talk about now how government can restrict in that area. Yeah? So, if it's a project of national interest, governments have a restricted area, and then you must go to tender with them for you must survey which company now by me most them.
So who now government? Who now government power for restrictive area? Is that director?
So in no, the minister by me there's a provision law, new lawyer that minister himself make him restricted area for this very purpose, and then you must going to tender. But I'm also by upon recommendation of the board too.
Yeah. So, but the minister got him discretion, or maybe act law advice for the board recommendation.
Yeah, it's on the recommendation of the board.
So him got him discretion. Him say decide for not doing, for not follow recommendation. Yeah. Most law problems in this whole sector because too much power handle minister. You man, do you agree, PS?
Yes, leader. That's something that administering the bill itself will still be an issue.
I mean, just give me off the top of your head of all prospecting licenses, over the letters of intent, or the mining leases, recommendation below minerals board. How many law there now? Below the final outcomes were the exercise of ministerial discretion when inconsistent with the technical advice from the minerals board.
I wouldn't give you the exact number on how many there are, but there are decisions that were made by the board that upon further considerations by the minister's office, he decided for
no follow.
Waiver more, yeah, based on the reasons.
Just give us the data, not specifically. But just give us the data law over the different applications, recommendation law board, and then decision law minister. So you may look him which ones now Minister Hemi exercise him discretion blame, which ones now him stick with him decision blow board. That gives us an indication of the exercise of that discretionary power, but also perhaps bring him into light more competence blow board. So board itself, and again, this would be a matter the MRA setup would address. The board itself, as I understand it, Central Bank inside, Attorney General inside, and who more inside?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The board's composition, I think Director Bahami completely providing you with the specifics, but there's PS Finance is in the board, Governor Central Bank, MLO board, Director Environment, who issues environmental development consents, yeah? MLO board, yeah, Director Mines as a chair of the board, so Director him inside the board, Director Yumi, yeah, Director Foreign Investment, him also inside the board, and depending on what specific areas in the country or province the actual discussion zone, you would also expect PSS from provincial government to be also in the board, relaying what the executive government law that province hemigarem for that specific paper also.
So current process for feed him go board, that's the workable law directorate now. So you look at all the technical stuff, feasibility stuff, submissions blow companies, you verify that you conduct due diligence to verify, one, they're technically competent to undertake the work, and they're financially capable to be able to do it. They have the capacity to be able to do what they need to do by right. I mean, by, to make sure that they're meeting our objectives also. And then that one, now you feed him in go. Or basically, company apply come, and then you put them on the agenda. Or application of company lo here. I just get the feeling that the board's been making decisions on inadequate processed information. They're more likely to make decisions based law on them companies provide, as opposed to what we think, whether one will provide them enough, adequate or no more. Just reading from Mogat Media no more. The comments lo mi time what Google koto rao outside mo leta osem goal time osem board mi time ay leta kasim de no board meet lo him no my karang no intino osem man leta kasim de mas lulu first time through something to you staka konman lo industry to you man like something out embellish him out make him look nice ball go you meeting se true one director.
Thank you, Member Blue BLC. So when an application has come before the office of the Directorate Office, we follow doing due diligence on their financial and technical capacities. And that one...
How do you do that? How do you even know what you're looking at for finance? I mean, how do you assure yourself?
Okay. So in the application, also got the work plan of what about the dream law prospecting blocketa. So the division has knowledge. For example, if someone says, "Bami dream now an airborne magnetic survey," and then him say 100,000 Solomon dollars no more low budget for him, immediately me fala sabe that is not enough. So that's the kind of due diligence that me fala dream. Lo where me fala cannot, me fala survey ask him Central Bank. Where me use him now like the extended arm blame for doing what assessment or due diligence law or the foreign banks where applicants have put them inside the application blocketa.
So say I'm doing magnetic reconnaissance or whatever it is survey, and it's going to cost $1 million US. So yeah, that sounds about right. You think 8 million Salvador should be able to do. But then how do you check that they have $1 million US? They can do this thing, or they can raise it somewhere. How do you check that?
Some of the companies where Okatasa submitting application, yeah, they are registered on the stock market. Some fala ota come as by privately funded numa. So there me fala require him Okata for give him come maybe the bank statements. And if it's a bank where the garem law country blockata, then we ask central bank if what's doing a further due diligence for me fala that one. Me fala garam challenges too for some determining now financial capacity of companies. So in that, me fala sabe request him of a trafo provide him further information that by him me lead law confidence blow me fala as a division for say yes, this is the company where government sorry him by looking at him sabe efficiently extracting the minerals blow country.
So I mean, we're talking 3 stages here. Stage 9, receive him application, you process him, doing due diligence, assess him, justification, and the rest of it. And you feed him go to board, and board consider him. Then board makes a decision as a recommendation to the minister. It's the final stage. So if at that first stage you look him, an application where he may come, and you deem him just not feasible, what happens then? You hold him never go to board now, and therefore by him never go to minister, or get a go on top head blue and go to board, or go directly to minister. Has there been cases also?
So the current law, the me cannot reject him na application. Yeah, I can process it. Then me fala sabe garem in our assessment of the application. Because I say, oh board, me fata him go to board, and if I say board division, him no like him no feel good about this one, so him say if we can reject this application. So then board makes the recommendation to reject.
So in that summary by Game Committee, including this one, how many law applications now? Division him say all same, decide all same, but board him decide different. Yeah, so we want to know which ones were division make him one recommendation, board him follow or no follow, make him clear, and then which ones now go from board to the minister and minister follow or no follow, make him have a good bird's eye view on the governance and how it has worked, and then see in this bill how you may overcome him, get a situation here. I mean, the way it should work is all the technical work is done at the directorate level. Once you reach a conclusion there, the rest of governance decision making, him for affirm him conclusion no. So any another decision more, no more. Something go ahead here, man go somewhere underneath coconut somewhere. So decision him go different because by him no follow now technical recommendations here. So the governance has to be based on the technical justification. If it's not based on that, what is it based on? On what basis now discretion here was exercised? I mean, by no, the only other justification I can think of is either national security, which would be closing something down rather than giving a license, or national interest in terms of, last time, it's a terrible policy, by the way. It was a fast track him trivial tenement here. Fast track now, you mean economies of scale for to talk about refinery. It's a terrible, terrible policy decision. That's probably also tainted with corruption too. Fast track him, so that will give him lots of specific man number 2 years. So, but anyway, that's a conversation for another time. If you give us that information, it'll help. I think it'll help the committee to appreciate the governance, the way governance has been exercised.
Thank you for that. Me for taking note. So, this new bill, him current provision for director, him sabe reject him now application right then. Yeah. Thank you.
Very good. Him director no more, you miss sign him lightly more way.
Thank you, Leader. George, you would like to? Yeah, please. You have the mic. Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. Just side law exploration. You give him, let them out of good name explore. How much of exploration na? Okay, by doing, then by qualify for if I'll give him a mining license. Is there any capacity or if you say drilling, how many meters now? That to drill him or if I got chip him with a rock or bottle of fish, how many area now to cover before to qualify? If I take him to result block, I look through them and say, okay, yeah, but a group I'm doing now. These things are come low. I mean, say lobilia or him back come low. Regulatory belief or no.
Thank you, Honorable George Tema. Yes, PSL Director.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable George, for the good question by Director and Deputy by shedding more lights into what's the intent from this oil bill, but the level of exploration that will be expected before HEMI sufficient for deliberation Lord Directorate level HEMI kasem no lo how much they think that Bayotsa will make money based on resources that ought to find them Molsem, yeah? So they can do example 100 to 200 drill holes, 200 meter each or something, depending on their feasibility study below what to do. So, because one of the process where HEMI happen now is they do submit a commercial discovery report for confirming now that, oh yes, I think we can do further work in here, but you start considering our process for application for mining license also. So it depends very much on that one. Having said that, the team below Directorate too is checking on the verifications of the amount of drill holes, the depth at which they do it, and the grades, yeah, where I got to talk about here, because sometimes there are companies that talk about very, very high grade, but in the data itself, you didn't see it there. This kind of information, and that shows the significance of the Geochem lab where you will help me gaman lo, I mean, for supporting me follow him. Having said that, there may be a very firing drill hole, yeah, where I'm got good grades, but not the other 10 kind of them. So we need to find those, because no good to use you no matter data one single hole there to say yes, this one am also the same. So to some extent, our economic geologists they are given the opportunity to even go and see the cores that were drilled. Just to verify, that yes, low depth also. Gold grade also, then you go look him, oh yeah, ota gold na you look him, oh no more, ota laya no more. This kind of verification am done during the process, more so after the commercial discovery report am given. So this process is very, very important, and also administratively, we need to really beef up that process too, which comes back to the discussion by leader earlier. that we cannot be treating the due diligence process lightly, and also thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Thomas. Yes, I would like to follow up. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, PS, because into waka together along the Gold Ridge too, yeah. And you work along some other areas too, lo, around the world there. And for example, the Middle East, Africa, Papua New Guinea, Fiji, and some other places, me fala drill, doing exploration, me no looking gold there. But the high grade, yeah. I'm high grade only, what the result, high grade. Lo Gold Ridge lo ya na, you mean drill, you looking gold liable, you know, lo koa, yeah. And then result comes, lo yeah, I'm but a low grade for good. Things like this, you mean it? And I think we are robbed somehow. You mean no keeping good of the record blue, you mean, or maybe you mean not have enough manpower for look after much, but this will be must cap some remna everything on same that often escape. If you me look good law currency blue me this time, you me got him triple mining law here, as you rightly mentioned him today. Chilean blue no change no. Fiji no garem, but Fiji go now. So these are the things that you compare me with him with another country too. If you like him for compare na this will be with him or how Papua New Guinea operate. But the good thing is to if you go out to go field tour Australia, you will go to Papua New Guinea and come looking blue here. And you time blow St. Barbara and over there on top and you looking this time. Time that group this time of the running Gold Ridge, but we see a big difference in the operation side of it and not something else. You can make your own judgment, I can make my own judgment, but I think we need to do better for our people and country.
Thank you, Honorable George Tema. Yeah, interesting mo PS by you comment kamlem sa place you tikim you no looking gold no but high grade. Lo ye you looking go hem sa na but low grade.
Obviously, yes, like a giant one tap so.
Thank you, PS.
Yeah, thank you. Again, it really comes back to the level of readings when come out look at the geochem equipment here, laboratories here. But in any case, also for some time working in Gold Ridge during time where George Honorable Member Hemi CRM, I think the cutoff grade you can go as 3 grams per ton, but the cutoff grade him around 1.2, 1.3. It's very, very low. Also, that grade itself, Hemi made. Also, you can make it standardized after a couple of hundreds of drill holes. But you look him there also me. But Los Angeles areas where Tatalem, the visibility of gold is not so much the tonnage that you by looking to. Yeah, it may not appear, but because of the higher technology low processing, there would be a recovery, and by you improve them because of even if I'm low grade, you will recover more that I'm go low waste here because of the technology also. But there are places such as Papua New Guinea, like Pogera, if you like. Cut-off grade logata am around 6-7 grams per ton. These are high grade areas. But then there could be instances where some of the grade same go as 20 grams per ton and also. But Yumi lo here, lo laboratory scale, Yumi kasem 2, 3, but most of them by fall below 1.5 or kind of. That's around the oxides, but with the findings that Dr. Talem now, and the government will still need to look into for further verifications, and also we will be taking that path while Yumi go ahead Wakalobilia. But I cannot agree more to have a very, very strong technical team. Law recommendations also opposition leader Talem. We really need to get down and really see what we actually dealing with here. On that, I think simply put, very much depended on, again, lot of geologists too. Sometimes confusion lot of metals can lead to skewed reporting and also too. There's so much in the industry itself that availability of better technologies, improving recovery, the non-availability of it. Like Goldridge, assuming KRM, most of the former players, they think that it's a very expensive, very non-profitable project here. Those ones that Imigarem now, they, and since them start during time Loros mining until time Losen Babra, to that many years, only 2 years no more operations if you look at it. What a struggle no more full time. But now with the change in technology and change law approach, they were able to keep on going and also. So time has changed, technology changed. So, but in any case, for government's priority, we really prioritize verification of whatever data that comes in, and also within our capacity. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you too much, PS colleagues. By me asking me for your type of question, PS and team by me suspend. We have the full day, so by me come back. It's getting interesting. So we'll resume at 2 p.m. We'll go for lunch, short break, and then we'll come back. Thank you too much.
This one come lunch, yeah?
Oh,
It's goal, eh?
you remind him, PS, yeah?